Home listings are jumping across the country because sellers are worried they're going to miss out on this red-hot housing market. Interest rates are rising, and people know that affordability for housing has started to plummet. According to Realtor.com, the supply of homes has jumped 9% for this month compared to the year before. Now, the sentiment in the market has shifted dramatically just in the last couple months. It wasn't too long ago that people thought, even with the rising interest rates, that housing prices weren't going to be coming down, but we are seeing that that is not the case. There are price cuts increasing across the country. Hey everybody, welcome to the Income Series. I'm Brian Clark. I used to be a nurse anesthetist, a career that I left after I started several online businesses. Now I come onto YouTube to share how I became financially independent, the lessons I learned from starting my companies, and also the new lessons I'm learning from all of the new ventures that I'm doing. If you haven't yet, click subscribe, click the like button, and let's get into it. People are feeling the squeeze across the country, and because of that, Redfin said that new listings are up twice as fast compared to the same month a year ago. So even some of the big players have come out and started to give warning of the possibility of a big housing bubble. The Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, Texas said that there are signs of a brewing housing bubble. And this is something I've been talking about. The fundamentals do not support the current housing market. You're seeing in 2021 that wage growth only grew by 4.5%. while home prices grew by over 18%. Now, this has been happening for the last few years. Home prices have outpaced wage growth. One of the other things you need to be thinking about is the number of permitted new builds. As of right now, builders across the nation have permitted some of the highest numbers of home builds in history. Now, nobody knows exactly how much of a pullback we're going to have. Because of this, we're seeing new sellers jump in to sell their house in the last minute before there is some type of market crash. And listen, go on Redfin or go on Zillow and check out some of these homes for sale. A lot of them, even as they go under contract, end up back on the market just a couple days or a couple weeks later. And this is because people are not qualifying for the loans. The interest rates have gotten so high, a price of a home that they qualified for 2 months ago is now out of their price range. And this goes into other markets as well, along with new construction. People who signed a contract to buy a home at a specific price from a developer can no longer afford these homes. The interest rates have changed. That's one of the things that most people don't realize. When people enter into contract with these developers, they don't actually apply and get the interest rate assigned to their loan until the construction is done. Because of this, a lot of people that could afford the home before it was constructed can no longer afford the home once it's finished. And because of that, people are going to start dropping out of these home contracts in droves. One of the things I found most interesting is one of the largest drop-offs in home purchases have been investors. They are leaving this market. And this should really spell something out for you. It was this dramatic increase in investor purchasing of new homes that really led to this shortage for most people searching for a home. Now that we're seeing investors leave the market, we're seeing people start selling their homes because they're worried they're not going to be able to get the same price 2 months from now. And we're seeing buyers back away from the market because, first of all, it's unaffordable. And second, they're thinking they might be able to get the same home for less if they just wait a few months. We might just be in for a massive correction. So this is something you need to watch out for. Now, there's a lot of locations where home sellers were getting up to 10 to 15 offers on a single home. Now, for similar homes in that same market, if it's a higher end home, a lot of times they're only seeing about maybe 4 to 6 offers. And if they're on the lower end homes that need a lot of work, as little as 1 or 2 offers. Home sellers are starting to get closer to their asking price rather than getting bids 40 to 50,000 over asking. Now, that being said, if you're in a position to sell your house and you're planning on moving in the next 6 months, right now might be a good time to list your home. The sentiment is not looking good, and the Fed is not giving any hint that they plan on dropping interest rates anytime soon. One of the kickers to this is the Fed has up to $9 trillion in securities. These are investments that they bought up in an effort to artificially deflate interest rates over the last couple decades. To give you an idea, the amount of securities that they had prior to the 2008 crash was under $1 trillion. They are now 9 times over that. We've also seen a big pullback in the stock market. A lot of these tech companies have lost a ton of value, and they have been having a lot of layoffs. This is only going to accelerate the number of possible foreclosures coming into the market, and it's going to reduce the number of buyers. If you're in the market to buy a home, be very careful about the price that you're paying. Now, I will tell you, not every market is the same, but some of these boom markets are really set to decline. These are the places where we're seeing a lot of cuts in prices, a lot of pending contracts fail, so the house has to go back on the market. So personally, in my opinion, right now is probably not the best time to buy a home. And one of the things to consider is people's savings are dropping, which means that they're not saving towards a down payment on a house. As people's savings evaporate, there is no way that they'll be able to purchase a home. They'll be forced into leasing houses. They'll be forced into renting or leasing homes. And this may continue for a while. It may take a while before we even see a drop in prices, if we even see a drop at all. The Fed doesn't have complete control over inflation. And because of this massive amount of money printing the Fed has done over the last couple of years, we will likely continue to see a rise in product prices. Now, nobody knows exactly how far the housing market is going to pull back. Some people speculate it's going to be around the pre-pandemic numbers of, say, 2019, before we started seeing these really low mortgage rates. And to give you an idea of just how bad it's gotten, we are seeing mortgage rates today for the same home 2 years ago that are about 40% more expensive on a month-to-month basis. Now, while we are still seeing a lot of consumer spending, I think this is more due to habit because of all the extra money that was floating around over the last couple of years. People's savings are starting to get close to the all-time low, and once that happens, people will need to change their spending habits. Credit card debt will get immense, and people's credit scores will start to affect their ability to borrow money. Now, I'm personally going to try and wait this out. I'm not going to go and buy a property probably in the next 6 months. It just depends on my situation and what the market does. And that's not to say there aren't deals out there. I would say if you're desperate to buy a home, if you need a home for your family because you just moved, there's nothing wrong with sending out lowball offers to all of these people that have their listings. In my opinion, if I had to buy a home right now, I would probably look in a market, see what the home was selling for in 2019, maybe offer something close to that price. One of the things you realize about purchasing real estate is to get a good deal is about the number of offers you give out. Now, this isn't financial advice, but if I was looking for a home right now, I'd be putting in offers for what it was valued a couple of years ago and put out a lot of offers for different homes. The worst thing that can happen is they will say no, and you may actually end up finding a desperate seller that hasn't gotten the offers that they were expecting on their home, and they will come to the table ready to negotiate. Now remember, don't take anything I shared with you guys in this video as financial advice. This is all just my own opinion. I really hope that you guys have success in this real estate market. Keep your eye on it, and you guys have a great day.